Hello and welcome to another edition of the Zoom Lens. I'm Doris Isang and it's great to have you join us. Today with me I have an activist, a political analyst. He is Jones La-Nibetle. It's always a pleasure to have him here. And our focus today is the 2019 general elections. It's great to have you here, as always. Okay, we're not going to waste a lot of time. We're just going to go straight to our questions for today. You have been updating the public on the performance of Governor Simon Plateau-Lalong since he came into office. That is seen in your previous edition. Tell us what brought about this project.
Well, let me start by stating clearly that what motivated and propelled me to engage in this project was not, and it's not about giving updates or entertaining the general public, but to ensure that Governor Lalong does not forget the collective resolve that forced Plateau people to settle for him. Give the team a social audit so as to stimulate efficiency in governance, to remind them of their campaign promises, and to proffer suggestive solutions where necessary. So in a nutshell, what pushed me to pull the trigger is my belief, love, and undying commitment to the Plateau project.
I believe a lot of people have seen your previous editions. So tell us, who are your sponsors now?
Of course, I have a spiritual, financial, intellectual, and psychological sponsor.
That's interesting. We really want to know.
The Almighty God.
That's a big one. So you're trying to say nobody, no organization, no group anywhere is sponsoring. It's just you, self-financed, and out of love for the growth of Plateau. People say you passionately dislike the governor. Do you have any personal hate for him? Is that true?
Wow. I didn't know I had a connection with Mr. Governor. Talk less of having it broken down to a love-hate relationship. Well, I used my intellectual and financial resources like many others for the APC in 2015 as a volunteer because at that time it was the right move. So to clear the air, I don't hate him, but I hate completely the fact that he took us back to the things we fought so hard against. And even worse, within a short span of a year. I also hate his cosmetic approach to governance. I hate his whatever it takes, whatever floats the boat method of governance. I hate his disloyalty and utmost betrayal of the collective trust of Plateau citizens. I hate his extravagance with taxpayers' money amidst pedestrian problems that he could solve. I hate his officialization of sycophancy and mediocrity. I hate his enthusiasm for the primitive accumulation of wealth, and I hate that he has betrayed the professional, ethical principles of the learned minds. I can only sympathize with them.
I didn't want to stop you. I didn't want to interject when you were saying, but I picked one thing you said. You talked about his cosmetic approach to governance. What do you really mean by that?
Well, I have lots of statistics.
Okay.
If you remember when Buhari was coming to commission projects, there was absolutely nothing happening on the plateau. But overnight, we had flowers growing in less than 24 hours to trees. That's cosmetic. I don't want to mention.
Do you really agree with the rescue team that they have delivered on their campaign promises? Do you believe that?
Governor Lalong came on board with a mandate to rescue Plateau people from insecurity, tribalism, nepotism, egocentrism, poverty, infrastructural deficit in education, health, and tourism. But it's so clear that the rescue is for him, his family, his sycophantic and good-looking cronies, who became the immediate beneficiaries. So far, the rescue administration is comfortable with her level of performance and claims to have delivered on all their campaign promises. And that, of course, and according to them, qualifies them for re-election. It would be impolitic, therefore, to answer this question without refreshing our memory with the promises that lubricated their journey to Little Rayfield.
The finances of this state we must know, because it is not the prerogative, it is not the property of one individual. It's the property of Plateau State. Carry everybody along. We will reduce the level of impunity. I intend, when I'm elected, to establish one specialist hospital in each of the senatorial districts. Some of the reasons for crisis are when you are not carrying people along, when there is no unity, when there is no justice, when there is no fairness. If you don't conduct good elections, the only way I can do is to make sure that there is unity on the plateau. It is my duty to bring back those youth centers. The youth centers are no longer in operation in our various local governments.
Well, we have as Platoonians been more than patient. We have endured and even persevered over the years. But as the Bible says, there is a time for everything. And this is the time for assessment, evaluation, rating and analysis of the Lalong-led rescue administration. Plateau people deserve to know with statistics if they have been rescued or if they have been imprisoned, endangered, and or even abandoned by their rescuers.
The problem we have in the state is that the resources were seriously misappropriated. What are we losing our priorities? But I saw that they were building a government house at 15 billion. We must go back and take our priorities right.
Has the huge cost of governance in the state been reduced or escalated? The only sector that has had the highest share in terms of budget implementation under the current government is the recurrent component of administration, which enjoys over 80%. While the skyrocketing of insecurity in the state, he has been inactive and complicit in the protection of lives and properties, a clear aspect of a constitutional and godly responsibility he swore to. The case of IDPs irritates him. He has allowed the military to dictate to victims of genocide in the state conditions for burial, and has implemented a system of non-disclosure of casualty figures and the restriction of mass burials so as not to offend his godfather by gaining the attention of the international community.
But we must go back to that main market. You take 5 billion, you will rebuild that market.
Where is the rebuild just main market? Instead, he has further vandalized our asset and sold out all the heavy aluminum and metals without accounting for it.
It is my priority where students were sent abroad on scholarship. Scholarships are going to be given priority to students.
Where are the Plateau students abroad on scholarship? He has also allocated billions for pilgrimage and tourist hangouts instead. Lalong decried electoral malpractice as a major threat to peace, but has today not only rigged the local government election, but used the office of governor to infuriate Plateau people by swearing into office people who lost the election and conceded. He went ahead to swear them in at midnight, even when lives and properties were destroyed concurrently following the political rape he orchestrated. He has gone a step further to acquire this property for 450 million naira for the assemblage of thugs for manipulation of the electoral process due to proximity to the INEC headquarters. Our eyes are on you.
We can develop Pandam Wildlife Park. There was a rock, has been left there. Let us try to develop them and see whether it will bring money or it will not bring money.
Where is the revamped tourism industry in the state? He has buried the sector and has so far spent only 5 million naira on paper in the purchase of goats. We even lost a lion under his supervision due to the absence of tranquilizers at the Just Wildlife Park. He has delivered, of course, but on street lights, poles, and billboards to distract motorists. No wonder one of his houseboys, who is the Just North Transition Committee Chairman, Philip Azi, has done nothing but street light poles and billboards with taxes meant for lifting people out of poverty. If only Governor Lalong allocated 15% of the amount expended on his billboards to the tourism sector, Plateau today would have a working tourism industry. But he has decided to be a 21st century Nebuchadnezzar.
I will construct first a very good golf club.
Where is the transformed golfing in the state? Our governor is a committed and dedicated golfer in Rwanda, Dubai, Akwa Ibom, just to mention a few. The big question is, where was his golfing spirit before 2015? Stolen wealth can do wonders. Where are the jobs he created? He has not only reneged, but has engaged in executive extortion of money from unemployed graduates seeking employment in the state civil service, even when billions of naira are thrown into religious pilgrimage and foreign escorts under the guise of luring foreign investors, all channels for money laundering.
By the grace of God, we'll set up a sports institute here.
Where is the Youth Commission and the Sports Institute on the Plateau? Lalong has not only swallowed his words, but has stolen our youthfulness by reducing Plateau youths to professional thugs in the business of removing campaign billboards. He has reduced Plateau youths to beggars, praise singers, and bootlickers.
The issue of education on the Plateau is a fact that completely there is a collapse of the institution. Back to the grassroots. We must update the facilities. We will update the facilities. And the manifesto of my party, APC, which will translate from the top to the bottom, is free education from the beginning to tertiary institutions.
Has the free education from primary to tertiary institutions been implemented by Lalong? Where are the modern educational infrastructure in the state? Why are we #1 in examination malpractice today? Where is the completed Zaria Road Stadium and the potato value chain with the billions swallowed?
Today we don't have facilities for judges in Plateau State. We don't have a new high court, foundation for the laying of a new high court.
Where is the infrastructure for the judiciary in the state?
The leadership style. Some of the reasons for crisis are when you are not carrying people along, when there is no unity, when there is no justice, when there is no fairness.
What leadership style is Lalong operating today when relocating IDPs back to their ancestral homes and God-given lands? Is this not a strategic campaign tool? Your answer, if had pondering, is as good as mine. He swore to ensure the unity of Plateau, but has reduced governance to a contest of strength amongst ethnicities, and even interprets the ethnic cleansing and genocidal atrocities on the Plateau as a Birom Fulani affair.
Now, if you allow, like we did in the Birom Fulani thing,
and blames it on religious and traditional institutions. Right Honorable Simon Plateau-Lalong, as he is called, lambasted the immediate past government in the state for misappropriation, underperformance, and lack of visible infrastructure. Today he's the head of largesse in the state and is operating from the house built by them without adding a single value, even though he allocated billions to the project. Let me reiterate, Lalong is an enemy and betrayer of Plateau. He acknowledged the sacking of villages by armed militia, but referred to them as tenants. He has arrested law-abiding citizens who protested against the invasion of armed militia, but has worked hard to ensure that none of the noxious killers is touched. He's the president's favorite because he is an ardent follower and part of the conspiracy.
Ancestral attachment. You can only have attachment when you are alive. Or where you have land and you can do something, please do for peace. The land be used for if those who own it are dead at the end of the day. It's better, like somebody has said before, it's better to live on the land than to be under the ground.
So has the Lalong-led government delivered on their campaign promises? Results are piercingly clear. However, it's fully strengthened people and institutions committed to the destruction of Plateau and has ensured that they have more faith, are more united, more coordinated, and have more access to financial resources than those of us trying to save and build the Plateau of our dream. It is heartbreaking that we have a governor whose strategic policy direction is voracity for uprooting seeds planted by his predecessors and the clear cause of non-continuity. The rescue team has sold plots of land belonging to us around Bauchi Junction, sold plots at Lamingo and Golan Bays, sold our ancestral plots at Ricos-TNT Junction, and has put Plateau riders up for sale. They have turned the Lands and Survey Ministry to a clannish enterprise for land distribution and outright sales of reserved parcels of land in the metropolis to the highest bidder. About 4 years in office, and this government is celebrating intentions, commissioning already commissioned projects, giving Mickey Mouse stories, and has demonstrated capacity for lack of capacity, and have only succeeded in making quality excuses for non-performance. No wonder he's going around patronizing traditional institutions in the state by giving them first-class status in a bid to confuse them into supporting him to destroy Plateau. Of what use is a first-class chief without a chiefdom? You are a first-class monarch, and thousands of your subjects are massacred daily, thousands displaced, and marauders taking over homes, farmlands, and rivers under your watch. A first-class chief whose personal security is not even guaranteed. How then can you be a protective shield? The case of the Saf Ronkulere, first-class chief and one of the oldest to the point of his disappearance, still remains an unsolved mystery. How competent is this government who cannot even protect the custodians of our customs and tradition? Other instances are the razing down by hoodlums of the Uja of Naraguta village on October 1st, 2018, and it still remains an open case. The Longdorok was kidnapped last November, and the negotiation that led to his release is sold by the rescue team as a milestone achievement. To our traditional rulers, the security and prosperity of your subjects is higher than the status of your title. This administration has moved and is moving at jet speed in the wrong direction. If we do not unite and stop them, 10 to 20 years from now, our children and grandchildren will only be allowed to be slaves in Plateau, if at all left alive. The Lalong administration has injected the culture of underperformance in the youth and has gone a step further to rationalize absence of governance in all sectors. They have built a framework for disorderliness and commotion. They are a disaster.
You've said a lot. Permit me to take you back to one of the things you said, and I'd like to ask a question from that. You talked about tourism and the poor performance. The question now is, won't the annual Jos Carnival suffice for revamping the tourism sector on the plateau now?
The Jos Carnival is just a vent, a channel for using our monies to patronize girlfriends and cronies. The tourism industry is supposed to be the pivot of our economy, which means it's supposed to be a revenue generating sector. Tell me, with the over 600 million naira expended on the Jos Carnival
Project.
what money has been generated from it?
I mean, the administration is so boastful of it, but moving forward now, how would you rate the administration of Governor Simon Lalong?
Oh, I thought I did that already. Well, in rating Governor Lalong, I will score him high.
Okay.
In reaching an all-time low. His performance is fantabulous in ordinariness. He has succeeded in failing, more so because he doesn't care about how Plateau people evaluate him, but how President Buhari and the cabals praise him, which of course is an A+. This explains why Mr. President travels with him like a handbag around the globe, even when he has failed to protect his people and failed in governance, because he counsels him on how to fail Plateau. I want history to record that the Lalong-led administration of May 29th, 2015 to May 29th, 2019 has had more than enough money for infrastructural development of Plateau State, but has drowned us in a pool of retrogressiveness, mismanagement, recklessness, and lack of capacity in leadership. He has distinguished and positioned himself as the perfect example of a leader that has turned against his people. A metaphor for a ruler with a strong affinity with mediocrity, a synonym for leadership failure. Lalong is the kind of governor we should never have. He has successfully reduced governance in the state to an administrative jamboree, joke, and rascality.
So just before we let you go now, this very important question is, with a few, of course, the election is just coming up in a few weeks now, what message would you have for the Plateau people, especially the youths?
Well, to my fellow Platonians, I want to say our rationalization of the status quo of failure, our reinforcement of failure, and our marriage with failed leaders is a testament that we are responsible for our stagnation and oppression. It means that we, like the current leadership of our state, do not have a clear mental picture, dream, or vision of where we want Plateau to be. The money we receive in exchange for votes is hush money, and the same as the 30 silver coins paid for the murder of Christ. No one can destroy us if we say no to blood money. Plateau State is at a crossroads. Anyone going with these crooks and the APC is standing on the wrong side of history. The La-Long-led rescue team is a medication that is evidently worse than the disease it's meant to fight. Platonians, how can we remain on the same medication for treating security, economic, social, and educational diseases for years when it has proved not only ineffectual, but has exacerbated the symptoms and redefined the definition of the problem from an epidemic to a pandemic that is spreading faster than a virus? Voting out this failed administration is the only hopeful prognosis for Plateau's deliverance. Plateau needs deliverance from this counterfeit rescue government, and the job of rescuing Plateau is a full-time job that someone who is under a pledge to promote debauchery and gallivanting cannot be helpful to the cause. What Plateau needs today is someone who has the requisite expertise, links, and cover to play the game within and under the umbrella of our security architecture. Someone who will not see riding with the president while human lives are harvested as exalting. Someone who understands the corridors of power. Someone who wants to leave a legacy. Someone who will not betray Plateau and the Middle Belt. Someone with linkages at the state, federal, and global levels. Someone who will restore hope, stabilize the ship, and hand over to a younger generation. Someone who understands and has financial capacity and business acumen. Someone who is not only a payer of salaries, but a creator of jobs, and someone who values human lives and humanity. My Plateau people, this is not the time for the youths to prove a point. This is not the time for the PDP, ADP, SDP, ANN, PPC, ABP, ABGA, and others to prove a point. This is the time for us to unite and vote out the man committed to destroying our state and wiping out our identity. Let us, for the sake of Plateau, our children, grandkids, and generations yet unborn, collapse our party structures at the state level to save our dear state. Let us together eliminate our common enemy, the enemy of Plateau, and bring in someone that will be responsible and committed to our freedom and prosperity. Someone who will rebuild a Plateau where anyone from anywhere who is law-abiding and hardworking can come in and succeed. That is the kind of Plateau we want to build. And our most crossover hurdle, which is possible, is Plateau-Lalong. Let's cross this hurdle and build the Plateau of our dream. This is in your vote, your mandate, and the protection of same. Use it wisely.
I will contribute my quota to the development of Plateau if given the opportunity. You see me not contributing to this regime because I did my best to give them my contribution, but each time they will tell you because he's in the opposition. But other states engage me and I've been giving my useful contributions to most states.
People ask me, why do you die for this man? When I became governor, I didn't know where to start. And I realized that I had a helper. And that helper is today my godfather, President Muhammadu Buhari.
You are already dead to us. Finally, let us meditate on Psalm 62, verse 11. God has spoken once, twice I have heard this, that power belongs to God. God bless Plateau State, and God bless Nigeria.
God bless you too. Thank you so much for taking our time to speak with us today.
Thank you for hosting me.
All right, people, there you have it. You have heard it and you have seen it. The choice is now yours to do the right thing come February. Your vote is your right. And remember that your PVC is your potent tool to social change. I'm Doris Izang. Many thanks for watching.